Let's Talk Careers with Sarah. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah Yusupov. I'm here on all my videos talking about careers, how to advance your careers, and how to increase your promotions and salary and such like that. So today I'm going to talk about me, how I became a career coach, how I changed jobs to become a career coach. So let's start with when I was 19 years old. I had a job that before getting a job I needed a resume and I had no idea how to write a resume. So my brother gave me his format, he learned it somehow, and he gave me his format and I just followed through. So his format did work and I kind of felt that the resume is kind of like getting me jobs, so I'm doing well. Now, going to college, in my senior year, my professor gave me about 5 different formats to use for a resume, and I didn't know because I was using only one. So, having so many jobs throughout my years, 19 till 22, I had so many jobs in between because I needed to move on, and I felt that in 2 pages, the resume will not be fit. So I know I cannot go more than 2 pages. That was like obvious. Nobody's gonna read a book. And so I decided that I'm gonna use one of the formats that the professor taught me. Now, moving forward to the rest through the timeline actually that in my life, having a career for me was nothing because I was too young to understand. All I was looking for to get promoted. I saw in one job people not promoting me. I decided to promote myself by just going elsewhere. And when I was hired, they even wanted to promote me as well. And then I decided to move up my ladder, but my resume needed to sound very well for the position that I wanted. Now, for me, changing careers to I was in hospitality industry. For me to change career to finance, I had to do something to highlight my strength, highlight my skills, my education in order for me to get accepted. After being accepted working in a bank, I realized that actually what was the core of my resume wasn't my skills, wasn't my experience, wasn't my education. All it was my languages. I speak 4 languages. In New York, this is the biggest asset that I found out that anyone needs. So how did I find out that the languages are the most important, crucial on the resume? It doesn't matter how it looks like, doesn't matter really the verbiage. What matters is the languages. So I found out because once I was in the bank, we had somebody speaks Philippines, somebody speaks Chinese, both Cantonese and Mandarin. We had somebody speaks Albanian and Spanish, and of course me speaking Russian, Hebrew, English, Spanish. So all of this was great. They had actually basically covered the customers who don't speak English. However, they needed somebody who speaks Bengali and Urdu. So they asked me for some reason if I know anybody who is actually speaking those languages. And I would say, what about skills? What about experience? Should they come from a different bank? Should they have some knowledge of how? They said, no, all we care about is having somebody who can translate, who can speak to Indians, right, to Hindus, and who can speak their language, Urdu and Bengali, in order for them to open checking accounts, in order for them to buy credit cards. The whole thing was for the manager just to meet the quota of sales. Doesn't matter who that person is. So for me, I realized that I was in the upper ladder, not knowing that I needed to take steps by being a teller, being a head teller, stuff like that. But I was already as a personal banker. So I found out that was a big deal. So going back to moving on to my graduate school. So when I went to graduate school, a friend of mine called me up and said, Sarah, I have a resume writer who is a professional And I have actually two resume writers who are professionals, one who is charging $50 and one who is charging $250. She never worked before in her life, and she just graduated for an associate degree, and she asked me who should she pick. And I told her, listen, you don't really need to hire anyone because I can do it for you for free, because this is something that friends do. We do it for free, and I didn't know that there's somebody's gonna ask money for it. So she did not listen to it, and she said, you know what, I made up my mind, I'll go to somebody who charges more, $250. That was the moment of epiphany for me, realizing I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I am a proven case study. I have no problems getting a job through my resume writing. And at that moment, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to define who I am by following through my skills. And I decided to write down all my skills, all that I know, all that I like doing, all my hobbies, all my interests. And the list was pretty long because so many things I knew, but it didn't require for my job, it didn't require for my work, but they were dormant. And I felt like I can do something with my skills, I can do something with my work. And so I decided to become a resume writer in the beginning. So I know how to use social media, and through social media I have decided to advertise myself. So at first I felt like everyone would tell me, Sarah, everybody knows how to write a resume. It sounds like weird, why am I promoting resume writing? And I thought to myself, not really, because a friend of mine is not the only one who needs help, and I am sure there are other people who need help. But if whoever tells me this, that everybody knows how to write a resume, maybe she's right. I'll give it a try for a month and see. If nobody calls me, then I know I'm in the wrong place. Lo and behold, the first client was a teacher with master's degree who never wrote a resume in her life, found me and asked me for help to write her a resume. When looking at her resume that she had, I said, you know how to write a resume, it looks professional. She said, no, I always hired somebody to write it for me. I don't know how to write a resume. So that was my first client. Then she referred me to another client who is loan officer looking for vice president position. So I was shocked because that person also had master's degree and she needed help as well. And then I did it for her resume. Then another client I had, those three most crucial clients that I know is because it's something that I thought that everybody knows how to write a resume, but then I realized that no, it's not true. The third client was also somebody with master's degree and OT who needed help to write a resume. And realizing all of these people with those backgrounds, that yes, they have master's degree, because to have a master's degree, you need to write a lot of essays, a lot of written work. So if you probably know how to write and talk, but probably don't know how to write a resume. So since then, I had so many clients coming to me asking for help. Those who had businesses closed down and needed a job, needed somebody to write their resumes. And some of them were students who just graduated, don't know how to write a resume, needed help. So a lot of times those things, people don't look for it. They think the college is going to teach them. No, colleges don't teach that. I was lucky to have a teacher who will hand me down a format in order to get that resume. Now, becoming a resume writer helped me so much to become a better marketer, a better salesperson, a better business owner, a better entrepreneur who knows so much. And everything just evolved as I learned how to sell more, how to attract more ideal clients, how to price myself properly, I've connected with other people who were also career coaches, and those career coaches were training me, mentoring me how to become more than just a resume writer, how to become a career coach that can help shape up everything. And actually, I did again, revisited and evaluated my skills again to find out what other skills I am missing that I can actually produce income. And I decided that I know not just writing a resume, but also finding a job, also how to pass interviews, also how to follow up, how to ask for a raise. All of these things came into place and said, you know what, I know how to be a coach because I know those skills. I know how to get a job properly, how to negotiate salary. I know what to say on the interview and what not to say in the interview because I'm also a recruiter. So those things have come into place that I had those skills in order to help others. So becoming a career coach sounds fun, sounds great, but it's a lot of obstacles in there. There are some people who are not qualified to get a job. There are some people who are kind of like personality is not there. They are not sure of themselves. And some people who are comfortable with whatever they are and just want to get a job that pays $2 more. So this type of mindset, I had to really shape it up and really find out that this is not where you need to go. You need to go, instead of A to B, you need to go from A to C. You need to jump that ladder. You cannot just be where you are and not be happy. So at the end, I have a radio show. So one producer had agreed to give me a show which is aired every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. on Armed Radio Global. And after that, I have a podcast. So all of this had really grown me so much. So if you are thinking of what type of career coach you can get, what type of skills do you need, or what exactly I can change in my career, all of these things are very helpful to know that a podcast like this or any channel like this can help you. So in the description box, I have actually an assessment, a quiz that you can take and find out more about yourself, a skill set that you already know. Doesn't matter if you use it at work, doesn't matter if you ever use it at work. What matters is if you know the work, if you know the skill. If you do know the skill, the assessment will look much great. So, and the next thing I have also is a workbook, a career change workbook that will definitely answer your questions, because a lot of questions that you get at the interview, you kind of like didn't think about it, but it is something that you should know. You should know yourself, who you are, in order to confidentially go on the interview and really explain why you change your career. So a lot of recruiters are understanding and they know, and they might ask you those same questions. So these two you have in the description, the assessment and the workbook. So that's it for today. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you get notified for my next video. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.